Morning, guys. Me again. Week 12 of the Corona apocalypse, and it's week 1 of the new cycle. So if you are a teen and you're doing this video, go get your parents. I'll wait till they come back. Okay, parents, you're here, right? So my guess is most people aren't getting anywhere near the amount of exercise they think they should be during this lockdown. So the videos are here. This is the perfect time to start karate. If you're worried about, oh my God, I don't want to go in front of all those people when I don't know what I'm doing and I have to wear that silly white uniform, now's the time to start. Start now. Start now while you're home where there's nobody to see you. If you have questions about stuff, send me a direct message on Facebook. If you're doing something that you have a question about, videotape it. Send it to me as a direct message and I will answer either with more video or with words or with both. And then when you come back, we have cool summer t-shirts and we have shorts for the summer, so they're camo instead of white, so you don't have to wear the silly white uniform. Start now. You're going to be home this summer anyway. You may as well be an orange belt by the time we get to the end of it. Okay, so this is for everybody now, for the students, for the teens and their parents, for the adults and their family members who aren't also doing karate. This is for everybody. And I forget to start the clock. I'm not going to be able to see the clock out here in the sun anyway, so let's see how this is going to work out. Wow, can't see it at all. This is not what it's supposed to look like. Okay. Oh. We'll see how this goes. New week, new cycle, new stuff to do. But as always, we start with a warm-up. We're going to start off running in place. This is not a really useful clock the way that it's set up. So this is going to be, I have no idea how long this is going to go. It might be 10 minutes, it might be an hour. I don't know because I can't see the way the clock is set up in the sun. So we did our running punches now. Keep your hands up. Keep your feet moving. Make sure when you throw that backhand punch that you're rotating your back foot. That's where the power comes from. It doesn't come from your shoulders, it comes from your hip, which you're pushing off by using the foot. Okay, jumping jacks. There's a hole here, so if I fall down in the hole and you laugh, that will come hurt you. It's just how it works. And some knees. Other side. And skaters. And kicks, front, side, back. Keep your hands up. Always keep your hands up. Even if you're just doing a warm-up, putting your hands down gets you in that habit. And then when we're back to being able to spar, you're going to get punched in the head. Okay, if you don't think that's enough warm-up, go through that set again. We're going to stretch a little bit. I have a ton of stuff I want to do with you guys today. Give me some arm circles. Other direction. Over and under. Pull one across. Push it back. Other one across. push it back. Reach up, reach for the grass. Down in a side stretch. Both heels on the floor here. If you need more, put your elbow inside your knee, push it out. Come to the center. Toes straight forward, push your knees out. And then the other side. And up. Okay, if you can hear all the tools and the banging, that's not me, that's the guys next door putting a roof on. So just ignore that noise. Okay, so we're going to start right from the beginner curriculum, and this carries through all your forms, is Chingle Chassi. When you do Chingle Chassi, your feet have to be as wide apart side to side as they are long apart front to back. Your stance is, when you do this, you need to be able to get your front knee bent and your back knee is straight and your heel still being on the floor. So if your legs are tight, your stance is going to have to be a lot shorter in order to be able to get your heel on the floor. If your legs are not as long as the person you're practicing next to, your stance is going to be shorter. Your stance has to be long enough to be solid. Your power comes from your base, from your stance. But if your stance is too long, you're stuck down there. So this is, for me, for my length of my legs and my flexibility, this is a good stance. Because I can come right up, shift my weight and kick. Flexibility-wise, I can get here too, but this isn't as useful because there's way more work involved in getting, so I'm stuck there. It's not useful because I can't use the place to defend myself because I'm too planted, if that makes sense. So we're going to start off with Chingle Chassi. Start way back here. It's not so pretty out here as it is inside, especially since the backyard is all lumpy. So I start here to my Chingle Chassi, I come forward. Step, step, step. My feet index, that means this one comes in to the other one and steps out. The whole time, my chest and shoulders are square to the direction that I'm going. If I come here, now my targets are going to be off. So my toes, my knees, my hips, my shoulders are all facing forward. Then I come back the same way. Hands here, roll your fingers in, put the thumb on the outside. Okay, so when I make my fist, I don't want my hand knuckle angled up like this. If I do, I'm gonna hit with this surface and I'm gonna buckle my wrist. So I want a nice straight line here, and I'm hitting with these two knuckles. If you hit with these two knuckles, what happens is it throws the angle off, and you run the risk of breaking these little bones in your hand. So when I do my punch, it starts here. Power comes from rotation. So it's going to come here, and it's going to rotate, and it's not going to hit until I set my stance. So I start here, and I come forward. I index in, and as I set my stance, I punch. And I go back the same way. I'm going to do that again, but this time I'm going to do it with a low block. Okay, the low block, the punch, the Chingle Chassi, that's right out of the white belt curriculum. It's part of Basic Form 1, but it's also in Shilsung Ilro. It's in Basadai. Variations of it in the Chuck Norris form that we're going to be doing with all the Dons this cycle. So this is a basic, but you will use it forever. So when we do our high block, your hand has to travel, our low block, your hand has to travel. So the hand that's going to block starts here and comes down and blocks. Okay, ideally my hand is turned away a little bit, so as I come down I rotate when I block. The cross body chamber covers my whole body, because if I just do this, I'm leaving all of this open as a target. So it comes here and I block, block, block. The one that's not blocking is always chambered. so you can punch with it. So I'm going to start back here the same way that I did. And I'm going to come forward. This time I'm going to rotate my hips. So when I step, rotation from my hips as well as rotation from my shoulder and my wrist, powering that strike. And you're saying, you told me it was a block. Yes, it was a block, but every block is also a strike. There's no point in blocking something and not hitting it hard. Somebody throws a kick at me, I want to block it, but hit it hard enough that they're not going to consider throwing another kick at me because that hurt. Okay, so those are from the white belt curriculum. I'm going to mess with you guys a little bit. This is from the beginners. Orange belts and blue belts are doing Chilsung Il row. So we do a move in this form. We start with the low block, and then we do a high block and a chamber and a strike to the neck. Now when you strike the neck, again, the hand is here. So it goes low block, high block, and chamber. I'm still looking here. If I look here, the guy over there is going to hit me in the head. So I'm going to low block, high block, chamber, strike. And then on the other side, low block, high block, chamber, strike. So we're going to add that to our Chungle chassis traveling. Let's see if I can do this backwards. Okay, so you need to practice those like a billion times. You know, I got it. I still practice those. I've been doing this since 1996. I still practice them. You want to get this burned into your muscle memory. The whole point of a form is it's a stylized way to practice moves that you would do as a self-defense. And if you're going to be able to use them as self-defense, they have to be burned in, so you don't have to think about them when you need to use them. Okay, so another thing that I want to work on here. This will also be from Chilsung. Horse stance. There's two horse stances, and I don't know if you can see you really can't see my feet here, and I'm going to go way back, but then I don't know how well you can hear me. When I do my horse stance with my toes straight forward, that's for a target that's in front of me, so I can be hanging onto the floor. But when my target is off to the side, my feet want to be angled off to 45 degrees, so I've got some push. So this is from Basic Form 3, so if you learned that last cycle, this is going to seem familiar. But I'm going to start back here in Soko Rip Chassis, which is a toes out hold with the center punch. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to step straight forward. Then I'm going to turn my hips. And as I settle my stance, I land the punch. You don't want to do this. Then you're sacrificing the power that comes with dropping your backup mass. You want it all to happen at the same time. So the rotation, the backup mass happening with the strike. Okay, so practice those. Practice them up and down. If you have a place where you can draw a chalk line, practice it so that your feet stay on the line. Okay. Now, okay. Piang blocks. When you do a piang block, you chamber 180 degrees off of where you're going to finish. If you come here and you circle, you've made it a Chilsung. If you start way back there and you circle, you've made it a Chilsung. Piang block goes straight back, comes in tucked close to your body. This one is blocking here. This one, my forearm is over my solar plexus. It's not touching. It's out here. So I'm going to block, 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 block. Okay, so we're going to start off this in a cat stance. So white belts, beginners, if you want to do this drill, that's cool. It's something that you're gonna need to learn eventually anyway. If this is your first class and you're going, this is way too much, that's okay. Keep on doing the drills that I gave you, and we'll be coming to more stuff that's gonna make more sense to you. So you're gonna start that here. In cat stance, center block. You're gonna step forwards, look, chamber, step, block. Look, chamber, step, block. Look, chamber, step, block. Look, chamber, step, block. And going back the same way. Personally, I think that block, that stance makes more sense. It's more useful going backwards, but we tend to do it going forward in a lot of the forms. So again, add a bunch of those over and over and over and over till you're blue in the face. Okay, we're gonna work on 2 kicks today. First one's a front kick. I'm gonna break the pieces down. So for this, you're gonna have your chair out because I want you to focus on the pieces. I'm gonna find a flat place to put my chair. Okay, so my standing foot's turned to about 45 degrees. My foot's gonna chamber here. Foot's gonna come up. I'm hitting with the ball of my foot, and I push my hips as I kick. So up, push, in, down. Up, push, in, down. Up, push, in, down. Okay, then I want you to put your chair like this. I want you to do 10 on each leg over the chair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a big fat bumblebee going around my iPad over there. 8, 9, 10. Fortunately, there's a big fat bumblebee and not one of the murder hornets. 1, 2, standing in a hole. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then, roundhouse kicks. So I chamber a roundhouse kick. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the best way to set this up so you can see. Again, put your chair here because I want you to focus on the pieces right now. My body is not going to lean one way or the other. My knee's going to come up towards the target. My ankle is the same height as my knee, and I kick out and bring it down. So up, out, in, down. And from this angle, again, I don't want to be tipped way over. You might have a little bit of lean, but up, out, in, down. Up, out, in, down. So again, put your chair there and do 10 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so if you need to practice that more, a couple of options. Pause the video, do a bunch more here, or that's probably the best bet, because if you say, well, when I get to the end, I'll do them again, it's not going to happen. You're going to get to the end, somebody's going to want to FaceTime you, your kids are going to need help with their schoolwork, it's not going to happen. So pause the video now, practice the stance drills that we just did, practice the 2 kicks that we just did. Okay, so once you've done that, forms. Like I said before, forms are a stylized way to practice moves that you would use as a self-defense. So we're just going to do the first couple of moves from each of the forms this cycle, but we're going to do them as self-defenses. So some of you are going to go, that doesn't look just like the form. That's okay. The form is stylized. I want you to understand the self-defense application of it first. So starting right at the beginning from basic form 1, the mechanics of it, you're going to look, chamber, step, block, step, and punch. Okay, but what you're actually doing, and again, you would do this much faster and maybe not as pretty if you were defending yourself, but practicing it this way burns the moves in a usable way into your muscle memory. So somebody is coming at me from that side with a kick, with a roundhouse kick. I'm gonna step into it. I'm gonna take this surface and I'm gonna slam it in right above their knee, and then step in and punch them right in the solar plexus and knock them down. Okay, so in the form, I'm gonna do look, chamber, step, block, step, and punch. But you visualize somebody there, and I'm gonna strike and strike. And that's where it becomes a self-defense. So to practice this, practice it like 10 times on that side, then practice it 10 times on this side. Make sure you look. Okay, if you do this and you're looking at me on the video, you're not looking at the person who's attacking you and you're going to miss. Then if you have somebody in the house you can practice with, don't have them kick you, because if you actually slam into above their knee, you're gonna hurt them. But have them hit you with a noodle or a pad, and have them come from different directions. So you're here, have them call to you, turn, block, punch. Have them call to you, turn, block, punch. Okay, so 10 attacks coming from all the way around the circle, every direction. That's from the beginning of Basic Form 1. It's also the beginning of Basic Form 2, which will be next month. But when we get to next month, you'll know it, so we'll be good. Okay, from the beginner curriculum, Chilsung Ilro. Chilsung means 7 stars and 7 spiritual ways. There are 7 of them. The first one we teach to beginners. It's actually really the first intermediate form what you do, because it has some of the counts have multiple moves, which makes it an intermediate form, but we do teach it to beginners. 7 stars, 7 spiritual ways, stage 1. Okay, so the first phrase, somebody is coming at me, I look. Just like I did with the Basic Form 1. They block, but now they kicked. So now as I hit their leg, they're landing and they're coming forward. So I block again. This hand is coming up, it's covering this side of my face, it's also chambering. I strike them in the neck. Now this is the cool part. I'm going to grab the head. I am going to slam my knee through their face, through their throat, through their ribs, and push them away. Okay, so they kick. They're falling in, they strike overhead, take the neck, push them away. So again, and if you know this form, you're going, that's not what the form looks like. I know, I don't care what the form looks like. Right now, we're working on self-defense. We have 4 months, we'll put the form together. But if you can't defend yourself, being able to do the form is not useful. Okay, so somebody's coming at you. Other way, same thing. Okay, then I want you to do the same thing that we did with the beginner. Find somebody in your house, bribe them with cookies if you have to, have them attack you with a noodle or a pad or a pillow or something that's not hard, that's not going to hurt you when you strike, but you don't want you really hitting them in the leg either. Have them attack you from different directions, call to you, turn, do that attack. Okay, Basadai. Advanced class, we're doing Basadai. This is, in Tang Soo Do Gup World, this is sort of like the pinnacle form. It puts everything together. So if you're learning this as a red belt, you're going to go, oh, that looks just like this, and that just looks like that. Something that you've done in another form. If you're a relatively new green belt and you're learning this, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is horrible. I don't know what to do. It's got like 60 some counts in it. But some of the moves you've done in your beginner forms, and the other stuff that you'll be doing will show up in all of your forms later. Okay, the beginning of the form, we have 2 kinds of blocks. We have Paki Sus and we have Ani Su. Both of them are for strikes that are coming at your head. So somebody's throwing a punch at my head, I'm gonna block. Okay, I gotta get out of the way. If I just do this and they're stronger than me, I'm gonna hit anyway. So I'm gonna block in. And in both cases, I'm getting my head out of the way. So it's head coming out of the way. So I'm here, block, block. They're throwing 2 punches. Block, 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 block. Okay, then the same thing, I can block to the outside. This one I feel like gets my head a little bit more out of the way. So I start here. The one that's going to be blocking is further away from me. I block, 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 block. So what I want you to do from your horse stance, you're going to go in, out, out, in, out, out, in, out, out. Put somebody there. Have them, well, don't have them punch you, because if you miss, it's not going to be a good day. But have them come at you open-handed, or have them come straight at you with a noodle. Okay? So, in, out, out. In, out, out. Okay, so now if you if you have seen people do Basa Dai and you go, okay, so first day, I want to learn the form. Why are you just showing me blocks? Well, those blocks carry you through the first very confusing circle in the form. There is made up basically of all those blocks plus one low block. You got to be able to do these without thinking. So I want you to do them. Have somebody practice you. Have them attack you at least 10 times. Chuck Norris form. Okay, last summer, all the Dons did Petsching, so your eyes were all learning the same form. This summer, you guys are all learning a short Chuck Norris form. The theme that we did for the black belts, for all the black belts, last cycle, we put together the long Chuck Norris form, and this cycle, we're gonna be doing the self-defense applications from it. So if you did that form, if you spent time on that form, a lot of the moves in the form that we're doing now are gonna make a lot more sense. Okay, so the form starts with a greeting. Then I'm going to step away from the attacker, low block, punch, and then block another punch. So I'm here. Somebody is throwing a punch at me. I'm going to step, actually they're throwing a kick at me. I'm going to step back out of the way, block, rotate and punch, and then they're going to throw another punch at me, and I'm just going to shift and get out of the way. So you see what's happening here? I'm not just pushing, but I'm getting my head, I'm moving my head out of the way. So when they throw the kick, I'm getting out of the way and blocking, punch, block. Block, punch, block. Block, punch, block. I think maybe I can do it on the other side. I didn't practice it this way. Block, punch, block. Block, punch, block. Block, punch, block. Okay, so get somebody to practice that 10 times at least on each side, and then get somebody to attack you. They're going to start off by throwing a roundhouse kick. So they're going to throw the roundhouse kick. They're going to land as you punch them, and then they're going to throw another punch at your head. So you get out of the way of the kick, you punch them, and then when they throw the other punch, you get your head out of the way. At least 10 in the air on your own, and then have somebody attack you. 10 times would be good. Then I need you to go get your weapons. Everybody needs chucks. Beginners need a single chuck. Intermediate, which is green belts and 3-stripe brown belts, need 2 chucks, and advanced class needs a sword. Black belts, we're going to be working on interpretations from the Chuck Norris form that we did last cycle, but you should also be practicing your chucks and your sword. So some housekeeping when we start. These are my chucks that I like. I have really small hands. I like these small chucks. Some of you guys are like, well, I want foam ones because they hurt less. Make sure if you get foam ones, you get the skinny ones, especially if you have small hands. A lot of foam ones have big fat grips and they're hard to hold on to. It's got nice short string. The thing I like about the short string is when I catch, I get the whole thing in my hand. Okay. Some of the ones out there have longer strings, and that's really nice because sometimes not at all, but sometimes you can do releases with them. My personal feeling about that is from a demo point of view, that's really cool, but from a self-defense point of view, why would I let go of a perfectly good weapon? But with a long string like this, when you catch, you end up catching the string instead of the chuck, which I feel gives you a lot less control of the weapon. So, these are from Bukiyushu. You can custom order them. Contact Miss McCoy and let her know what you want. You order the length of the chuck you want, you order your design, you get your name put on it. Can you see my name? And you order the length of your string. I think my string is 1.5 inches long. They come with chains too. I like the strings better because they hurt less if I hit myself. Okay, so basic stuff with a chuck. When you hold it, you want your fingers right here close. You're probably going to hit yourself in the head. If you hold it down here, I guarantee you're going to hit yourself in the head. If you hold it up here, you're less likely to hit yourself in the head. So what you're going to start is you're just going to start with it on your shoulder. And you're going to go down and up, down and up. And you're going, it's going to hurt when it hits my leg and it hits my shoulder. It doesn't really hurt. If you hit hard, it might be a little bit uncomfortable. These are like balsa wood. If you have a Rob Morel chuck, yeah, you can hurt yourself. That's your own fault for using that. And I'm just going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then put it in your stupid hand and do it again. And you're going, you're going to find when you do this with 2 hands, it's actually much easier to get the stupid hand to follow along with the smart one. But doing them individually, it's much harder. Okay, then I'm going to add a spin to this. I'm going to start on my shoulder. I'm going to spin down, spin up. spin down, spin up, down, up. So when I do this from the front, it's directly in front of me. It's not out here. Okay, it's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Then put it in your stupid hand. Yes, put it in your stupid hand. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, beginners, that's what I want you to keep practicing. If you're a beginner, do not pick up your second chuck. Wink. Anna said I'm supposed to wink when I tell you that, but you can't see that. I don't do it very well, and you can't see it with my sunglasses on. Pick up your other chuck. And I want you to go back to here. Down and up, down and up, down and up. And yeah, you're going, I already did this with both hands, with each hand individually. That's okay, I'm gonna mess with you in a minute. Okay, then you start here. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, now, next piece, before we do it, I have a challenge for you. If you can do this, send me the video and I'll call you out. Okay, you guys can all do this, right? And can you do that? Okay, so this one, I'm turning my hands in opposite directions. I'm not doing this. They're going in opposite directions. So if you can do that, this is gonna be, what I wanted you to do next is gonna be much easier. Plus it's pretty cool if you can figure it out and send me a video. You gotta be able to do it for more than just right to there. You gotta be able to do it, hold it for a while. Okay, so now you're gonna pick your chucks up again, and you're gonna come to here, and you're gonna go opposite. And it's exactly like what I just did with the hands. If you're going, how do I start this? The place you start is down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. Another way to practice this is if I come here, my smart hand is going to do the spin, and the other one's just going to go for the ride. Okay, then you could switch. I don't know if I can switch that. Okay, but the goal is opposites. Okay, so there's nobody here to look at you. If your kids are older or they're teens, they're going to be able to do this way easier than you. So if you have little kids, this is something cool that you can do that they can't. So practice it a lot now. Practice it in a room without television or a china cabinet, because I guarantee your chucks are going to fly. Okay, so I want you to practice that. Advanced, sword. Okay, if you're a black belt, you can use your katana in class. This is not sharp, it's aluminum, it can't be sharpened. If you are not a black belt, you're using your bokken. Okay, bokken generally have a tsuba on it. That's this thing, it's the guard. I don't have the tsuba on mine. Mine is bamboo and it's really light, my shoulders like it. Some of the wood ones are really heavy, so when you get one, handle it, make sure it's light enough for your shoulders. I didn't bother putting the tsuba on mine, but I brought this one out to show you for some housekeeping things. Okay, it's got a, can you see the groove? That's a groove for blood. So when I stab it into somebody, there's a place for the blood to run. So suction wise, it's easier to pull out. Okay, if you were a samurai, your life depended on your sword being sharp. If you put it in the scabbard with the business side down, the edge is going to get dulled by the weight of the sword pushing into the scabbard. So when you put it in your scabbard, okay, you see, you want your business side down, which is going to affect how you draw. Because when you draw, if you bring it across and you strike with the not business side, it's not going to do you any good. Okay, so you're going to put this, you're going to take it, you're going to put it at your hip as if it was in a scabbard. The business side is facing up. So when I grab it, my hand's going to come this way. So my thumb is underneath and my finger's on top. So when I draw, the attacker's there. I'm leading with, can you see it? With the business side of the weapon. If I come the other way and I'm leading with this, it's not going to do any good. So blade is up, draw, straight out. Out, out, out. Okay, there's other draws that you can do. We'll work on those later in the week because we're not going to be doing any sparring, at least in my videos, because there's nobody to spar with and we get so much stuff we can do with the weapons. So you start, you draw, do that 10 times on each side, and I'm going to show you, well, it's ceremonial, but it's got a practical reason. Once you've cut somebody, how you put the sword away. It comes up, it flicks, because what you're doing here is you're flicking the blood off. Then I'm going to take my hand and I'm gonna put it on my hip like this, with the thumb up. So like the thumb is up and it's against my hip and my fingers are out. I'm gonna take the not sharp side of my sword and put it here. If I turn it this way, I'm gonna cut my thumb off. I put the not sharp sword side here. I put my fingers against, I wipe off the rest of the blood, and I tuck it into my scabbard. So we start here, and you draw. Cut, one, flick, wipe, put it away. Draw, up, flick, wipe, put it away. Okay, if you want the sound effects for this, teens, I know if we did this in ProTech when you were in the kids class. So we go strike, and then ha, swish, click. Okay, 10 times. Draw, put it away. Like I said, the putting away at that speed is largely ceremonial, but if you were samurai and you put your dirty, bloody, mucky sword back in the scabbard, it would rot, and then it wouldn't be there to save your life the next time you needed it. So it's not useless. It's got a purpose. Okay, black belts. We worked on Chuck Norris form last cycle. If you have holes, I put video over last cycle in the YouTube. Some of them were listed as black belt class. I think they were all listed as black belt class. If you go in the YouTube list, we covered the entire form. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna backtrack and we're gonna work on the self-defense applications of it. In most of our forms, when somebody attacks you with that very first kick, you step forward into it. In these forms, and if you're Don, you saw this in the one that we practiced, you step away from the kick. So what I'm gonna do for the very beginning of this form, somebody's throwing a kick at me, I'm gonna step away, I'm gonna punch them, I'm gonna push them away, and side kick. So I kicked, I blocked the kick. Their momentum is coming forward, so I push them, which is going to buckle them even more. I put my hand in their chest or their throat to put them upright again, and then side kick right into the the stomach, the solar plexus, or the hip. Okay, so they're coming at me. Step out of the way of that punch, block it. Of that kick, block it, punch, push them away, side kick. Okay, so that was very. From a self-defense point of view, it would have to be a lot faster. You can do it it works on both sides. It's in the form on both sides. So what I want you to do is 10 on each side. Have somebody attack you. They're going to attack you with a roundhouse kick. They may throw a punch, but ideally you're going to move fast enough that they're not going to throw that next punch. So practice it a couple times with just the kick. And then, after they throw the kick, have them try to tag you on the head. So the attacker is going to go roundhouse kick and try to tag you in the head. And your goal is to get out of the way of that kick and then become the attacker. So you do all those other things, the punch, the distance, the side kick, before they hit you back. Okay, so this is week 12. If you do this for credit, the oil truck's going by. You can't hear me right now. That's the trash truck, I guess. What I found last cycle is if people just tagged me underneath these videos, I wasn't getting notifications of it. So if you do the class for credit, send me a Facebook message. If you have a question about it, either send me a message on Facebook, a word message, or a video message. See, this is what I'm doing, is it feels wrong, what do I need to fix? And I will send you back either a word message or a video message. People who are taking class, get your family members, your parents, the other people in your house who are 13 and up, who are not already doing karate, drag them out here, do it with you. Everybody should be working out, and I'll see you guys later this week.